fellow MGTOWs. This is Neo I Believe, and today I'm going to talk about the topic of homeless MGTOW, and especially the obstacles they face on the street and the great outdoors. This video is part 2 of a 2-part series on homeless MGTOWs. So if you have not seen part 1 dealing with life inside of the homeless shelter, I recommend that you pause this video and go back and watch part 1. The link is in the description box below. If you have already watched my part 1 in this series, then you're ready to continue watching. First, the positive. Homelessness on the street, if done right, can be a great venture of freedom. A man going his own way, combined with the free spirit of anything goes, can lead a man to see new things, visit new places, meet new people, and become educated beyond the confinements of a standard sheltered lifestyle. Becoming homeless typically is the byproduct of a tragedy. And in a man's case, it's usually along the lines of termination from work, ex-wife destroying him financially, or an estrangement with family. But with a general sense of mental and moral stability and basic street smarts, the situation of homelessness on the streets can be turned around to become, strangely, one of the few liberating outlets a red pill man has left in this modern Western society. Now the negative. Homelessness on the street, if done wrong, can lead you into a world of shit. And let me tell you, it's a consequence that you would deserve. A huge majority of the homeless allow drugs, alcohol, petty crime, panhandling, and absence of hygiene to consume their entire being until they are just a shit stain in society. These particular lowlives are regularly in trouble with the law, revered by the public, constantly passed out or OD'd somewhere, in civil war with other homeless lowlives, in stressful drama with their endless plethora of crack whore affiliates, you name it. I would hope that the homeless MGTOW, however, has an awakened sense to never associate or affiliate with scumbags like this ever. Because there are actually 2 categories of homeless, good and bad. If MGTOW men lack the instinctual prowess to reside in the boundaries of the 1%, that is the good homeless, then you may need to seriously rethink your life on the streets. In this video, I will make a 2-column chart separating the red pill and its observations from the blue pill and its observations. So here is the complete chart for you first. Then I'm going to explain it throughout this video. In the red pill we have homeless, ghosting, off the grid by choice, freedom from rules and confinement, the one and only price of pussy, survival of the fittest, and you may be here forever. In the blue pill we have prone to illness, the bullies in blue and their laws, jealous lowlives with hostility, and communities or not. Homeless, ghosting, off the grid by choice. Maybe the cost of rent is really outrageous. Maybe there's a hippie brewing inside of you, and you feel you've been deprived of the great outdoors. Maybe you're at wit's end with the way society around you functions. It could just be you're in need of a permanent vacation. Whatever your reason, you downsize, pack your things, and out to the great outdoors you go. After the red pill, every man pretty much has a limit of tolerance before he voluntarily leaves society behind. And the homeless MGTOW on the street is the one who put his money where his mouth is. When taking on homelessness by choice, it helps to have an open mind to the fellow homeless men around you. In some cases, your fellow man is homeless involuntarily and does not have the privilege to get his old life back. So with an understanding from you, homeless MGTOW man, other homeless men will be more open and susceptible to your persona. And it makes it a lot easier to build interesting colleagues on your journey. You may enjoy the life of a ghost, or you may have pangs in the back of your mind longing for the old days and telling you that you shouldn't be in this position. Either way, it's your life, and you should be content that this life on the streets was an upgrade from before. Especially now, considering that you are less of a target for a gynocentric society that wishes to make your life miserable in the first place. In this homeless position, all of your choices are your own, so I cannot feasibly give any tips and advice other than to always have good judgment and a backup plan in case you lack the discipline for such a demanding new lifestyle. Freedom from rules and confinement. While a life of living in a homeless shelter may be laden with rules, regulations, and requirements, living homeless on the street is freedom from all of that. There is no curfew, no one can tell you what time meals are, when bedtime is, when to wake up, when to shower, and so on. This is great for a MGTOW who finds it difficult to get along with the mostly blue pill colleagues around him, and he makes his own rules while living at his own pace. Still, basic rules apply, such as the laws, or any personal code of morals for that matter. But for the most part, if living in a shelter institution such as a homeless shelter felt like jail or detention, then living on the street is a liberating alternative to not only break your chains, but also explore places, cities, and even countries that you've always wanted to explore. The one and only price of pussy. A popular topic seems to be sex, which includes paying for sex and the value of pussy. Well, down to the nitty-gritty, you'd be surprised that even a homeless man in general can get laid for as little effort as any other man. Now granted, the quality of women is no better than what one could get in a brothel or on Craigslist for that matter, so most MGTOWs on the street personally would have no interest in getting laid at all. But if so, the biggest red pill of all will be the realization that those men paying $80, $150, $200 an hour for a whore on some website are the biggest suckers. On the street, it is all too common for women to approach you and offer you oral sex or a lay for nothing at all. If she can get just a whiff of hard drugs from you, she's even more willing to give you sex. But women by the hundreds will almost outwardly seek men on the streets for sex. Now, these women range from average women pretending to be homeless themselves, because we know that women on the streets are never actually homeless, to married professional women who are past their prime and just want to suck off a homeless man to feel special again, to healthy-looking educated women in their prime who just need their fix of sex with someone she perceives as a shady homeless lowlife. It's shocking to hear stories of even the most low-life homeless thugs and how they were approached by women in the strangest hours of the night, or early mornings rather, and how these women gave them oral or just regular sex just for the fuck of it. Rightfully so, you may never pay a woman for sex ever again. What is the one and only price of pussy? Free. Do not be fooled by feminist indoctrination that vagina has any value in terms of currency. The next time you even think about shelling out cash for a quick lay, always consider in the back of your mind that a homeless man just got done with that woman or will get that woman for no charge at all. And then keep your money. Survival of the fittest. This bears repeating over and over again. There's a right way to be homeless, and then there's a wrong way to do it. Simply put, bad habits can kill you. If you find yourself on the streets, there is no better time to give up your old habits, such as smoking, drinking, drugs, and paying for women, panhandling, stealing, and so on. As a homeless man, these habits are likely to kill you. At best, you will be addicted to supporting your vices rather than staying afloat, presentable, and wise while living on the street. At worst, people will resent you and refuse to help you or associate with you because you're an obvious product of laziness, privilege, and degeneration. Think about it. Who are you most likely to help? The stank fuck homeless bum blowing cigarette smoke in your face, who smells like cheap beer, somehow has a woman by his side who does every fucking thing for him and is begging you for a few dollars? Or the fresh-smelling, personable, presentably dressed, sober, homeless MGTOW man who's down on his luck and asking for the opportunity to work? Darwinism plays a huge role on the street for a homeless man. A good homeless man will use the resources provided for him in order to shower, shave, change clothing, do laundry, eat well, and mind his own business to survive. A bad homeless man will present himself as the shit of society, and the day the government may no longer provide him with freebies, he will be dead on the spot. Use the few resources that you do have to ensure your very well-being and survival, just in case shit hits the fan. A homeless MGTOW must know how to adapt and be nimble and stay on the move and be ready to carry everything he owns on his person if ever the situation calls for it. You may be here forever. For the final red pill observation, I'm going to end it off on a serious note. Homelessness on the street is not something you can just cut off with the snap of your finger, even if it's homelessness by choice. The lifestyle of being on your own is ultimately very consuming. There are many homeless men on the street who have an accumulative plan of getting out of their state of homelessness, step by step, little by little, day by day, but the ugly truth is that most don't go anywhere. This is the unspoken fact that one must come to peace with sooner rather than later. There are quite a few government programs that offer assistance in housing. However, as a MGTOW man, signing up and being inducted in the system hardly sounds like an appealing change to your already independent lifestyle on the street. Most homeless men, MGTOW or not, may find solace in being as separated from government lists and programs as humanly possible, for the innate paranoia of being, quote, in the system and at a loss of freedom. Even when you are tired of being homeless altogether, the exit may be far from reach. After homelessness, it is extremely hard to return back to your normal, secure life. Sure, taking the previously mentioned precautions, such as eliminating drugs and alcohol, can give you a huge advantage over others in a similar homeless situation. But regardless, homelessness on the street is generally a permanent destination. And now I'll proceed with the blue pill observations. Prone to illness. It should come as no surprise that being homeless can greatly reduce your immune system and make you more prone to getting sick. After all, you are generally at the mercy of the harsh climate and lack of indoor air conditioning. Add this to the general lack of sleep and you've got a recipe for failing health. Now is as better time as ever to really get in touch with your body and educate yourself on certain ailments, symptoms, and infections, and ways that your body can overcome any obstacles. While the homeless man is not living in the shelter institution, he may still be prone to visit the shelters during meal times and eat the shelter food. Food which for the most part is not the highest quality and should be indubitably questioned as far as the nutrition content and the sanitation quality is concerned. Several homeless men still return to the shelter for mealtime, but true health occurs when you gain independence from the teat, so to speak. Now that you are very prone to illness, this is ample time to start taking better direction of your own food intake and nutrition, instead of having a handout at the nearest shelter. It may seem hard at first, but when you take a genuine interest in your own health and concern yourself with how to overcome illness, it's second nature to consume food of quality and known origins. This is the number one way to eliminate your need for prescription drugs as well. Yes, the homeless man is prone to illness, but that should not prevent him from making essential changes. The bullies in blue and their laws. It's all fun and liberating until some jerk or some cunt calls the police on you. 9 times out of 10, someone alerts the police about your presence. But otherwise, it's just the police who have nothing better to do but to get in your business on their own accord. Depending on what region you are in, police either are really strict about the homeless or really don't care at all. In most cases, while living on the street or even camping in the great outdoors, the police frown upon this, and you could be subject to fines, jail time, or citations. More often than not, the police will see that you are clearly homeless, possibly traveling as a loner, and then deem you as an easy target for them to bully you and abuse their authority. It happens, but on the flip side of the coin, there are some places where the police will just casually drive on by even after they see you sleeping in a tent, or on a park bench, or on the concrete. Take for instance a state like Arizona, where homelessness is very frowned upon, and cops will not hesitate to correct you if they see you. As opposed to a place like New Mexico, where there was an incident of a homeless man camping out in the great outdoors who was then brutally shot to death by cops and even had a canine sicked on his dead carcass. Horrible way to go. And then compare that to California, where cops don't give a flying shit if a guy is homeless. The homeless are free to lounge and live however they want for the most part. So yes, region makes a difference on the police's authority over your homeless situation. The smart MGTOW man on the street will do everything in his power to make sure that the local cops do not know him by name. Instead, leave that to the troublemakers who are constantly in the cops' radar. Jealous lowlives with hostility. If you don't like the idea of being a lone wolf, or if you hate the idea of flying solo, homelessness on the street is probably not for you. The ugly truth is that trust is an increasingly hard thing to do while living on the streets, or off the grid for that matter. Don't hesitate to trust your fellow MGTOW brother, however. I can't stress enough that in the case of the homeless, 99% of the men are blue pillers. It's just the ugly reality. Coincidentally, the bad homeless will always find something about you, red pill homeless MGTOW man, to be jealous about and will treat you with hostility. In such a case, it may be wise to not only know survival skills pertaining to knowledge and street smarts, but also survival skills in terms of self-defense, just in case a situation arises where you need to physically defend yourself from a raging blue pill drag of a homeless man. Inside of the shelter, these particular characters were the truest, bluest white knights, forever defending their damsels, the cunt employees. Outside of the shelter, their hostility against men, or rather men who are self-sufficient without a woman, may be exacerbated higher. And what causes such hostility? Maybe your tent is more insulated than theirs. Maybe you have banished alcohol, drugs, tobacco, and women from your life, while jealous lowlife is being destroyed by all of the above. Maybe your clothes are cleaner than his because you actually consciously wear them well and wash them on occasion. Who knows? But the key is to fly solo, or at least steer clear from petty idiots who are jealous of another homeless man. Communities or not. And for the final blue pill observation, I'll just say that, like I had mentioned before, learning to fly solo while homeless on the streets is the proverbial winning move in this game. Now, community is a wonderful thing, but let me explain why community just does not work in the realm of homelessness. Oftentimes, being in a community of fellow homeless people is not only dangerous, but it weighs you down and keeps you in a perpetual state of going nowhere fast. In a groupthink environment of such poverty and depression, you can have the tendency to never advance and only be stuck with your homeless kin. Again, an exception to the rule may be the rare all MGTOW group of homeless men, but that is rare to non-existent. Communities in the homeless realm do not reward any idea of progress, but rather a crabs in the barrel mentality plays an ugly role. It's always where to eat for free, or where they're giving away free this or that, or where you can get another free meal after just eating 2 free meals in a row. Catch my drift? It's never talk about helping others, or, not being homeless leeches anymore. Forget that, MGTOW men. Break away from any homeless community on the streets. That ideal worked within the homeless shelter, but the rules are changed outdoors when there is so much against you, and your clique only wants to scavenger for more free, useless bullshit for the next 50 years. Not to mention, it's generally safer and less exploited by local police if you steer clear from the crowd. So there you have it, MGTOW brothers. I hope this video was very knowledgeable for you, just in case you yourself may be facing some issues that could leave you into a homeless lifestyle on the street or the great outdoors. This concludes my two-part series of the homeless men going their own way. I'm glad I could shed a little light on a topic that is rarely, if ever, discussed throughout the manosphere. Thank you, and believe.